All right, what's up, people? I hope everybody had a great little whatever the fuck you want to call it. But you know what today is? It's a brand new day. And you know what else is brand new? A Tom Leroy video. Let's go ahead and we're gonna do this is a cold watch along, my brother.
Sinisterism is about finding the primal aspects of the left-hand path. Primal
We always
in
come in
history,
cold on Tom
primal in the
videos, man.
psyche.
If I happen to watch the video
truth.
and then I'm
Thomas
like, fuck
Leroy.
it. I can't do it. I gotta keep it cold. I gotta keep it cold in this bitch.
Greetings, my friends, and welcome back to your dose of sinister heathenry. But for those new to the channel, I'm Thomas Leroy, founder of the International Left-Hand Path organization, the Sect of the Horn God. The sect is an educational foundation created to not only make those with a black flame aware of its glow, but to also restore the shadow aspects to the ancient gods by going deep into the past,
Still love
not
that
only
Odin.
historically,
That's still the
but
best
also
Odin
psychologically. For the primal.
Tom, bro, you gotta tell me, did you make this? Where'd you get it from, bro? Just the runic nature of it all, everything, bro. Tell me your secrets.
Depths of the psyche are limitless. So, if this sounds interesting, make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
It all sounds
and
interesting,
if you
man.
want to learn more, join the organization, the Sect of the Horn God, at the link down below. Thank you.
Does it cost money? Kidding.
A few days ago.
Hey, bro, be real with me, man. You fucking with AI, aren't you? You fucking with AI, bro. We all doing it now. Everybody's doing it.
It was the solstice, the winter solstice. And at Stonehenge, people gathered to connect with that primordial symbol of British heritage, which is a good thing.
Okay, for those of you out there that are idiots, because Tom's probably not going to break everything fucking down for you, because he's assuming that you know shit. There are two solstices in a year, the winter and the summer. The winter solstice is the longest night of the year, and the summer solstice is the longest day of the year. Then you have midway between those two, you have another two. And those are called the equinoxes, which means basically equal night. So that's basically when your days and nights are roughly of the same length. So that's what he's talking about. And the reasons why that's important mythologically, I know, just fucking think about it, you'll get it.
Nothing wrong with that. Many were there as casual observers. Others were trying to find a link to a bygone era. And some were curious about the freak show. This is because neo-pagans and modern druids were...
Now, I don't know if Tom's going to get into this at all, but I happen to believe that there is a magical pathway, or how should we put this, a set of workings that one can do to get in touch with what might be called ancient or bygone currents or vectors or methods of understanding spirituality. I think there are definitely magical ways of getting to that. And I don't think cosplaying is one of them, and I think Tom would agree with me on that.
Doing their thing, singing, dancing, banging drums, and above all else, desecrating those ancient stones with the taint of Christian morality.
There you go, buddy.
That's right. These 21st century folk believe they've resurrected the traditions of the ancients, but the ghost of...
Hold on, we ain't gonna say nothing about the fat bitch on the left, are we? Are we gonna say something about the fat bitch on the left? And how that one dude's standing a little close? if that second nigga, okay, you got the nigga in the middle, right? And then you got the nigga right on his left. I'd be moving over to closer to the nigger in the middle, and I'd be segregating myself from that. God damn, she looked like she came off a guy. What she come off a commercial for fucking Kraft mac and cheese? Look at this bitch. She looked like she just had a bowl before they did this.
The Neolithic people who built that structure
Extra cheese,
4,000 years
motherfucker.
ago wouldn't recognize the actions of these soft.
I'll put it like this. They say don't say, if you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. She looks happy. She looks happy. Happy to be there, you know what I'm saying?
The ways of Western society and that which lies at its foundation.
Hold on. Dude, the one nigga on the right, man. I know you had to cut away from it because he was like embarrassed to even put that shit in your goddamn video, man. You know what I see? Hold on. We got to go back just a tad bit. A tad bit.
The taint of Christian morality.
When I see these motherfuckers, hold on.
That's right.
Where we at? Not these
21st century folk believe.
Remember they was doing that new Snow White movie and they came out with that fucking thing with all them people? And then they got roasted for that shit and they had to redo it. This looks like the first group. You know what I'm saying? The test pilots.
They've resurrected the traditions of the ancients, but the ghost of the Neolithic people who built that structure 4,000
years. These niggas all look a little bit too happy, if you know what I'm saying. Like what you smiling about?
Years ago, wouldn't recognize the actions of these soft human byproducts of modernity.
Tom Joni. Now see, this the one right here. This is the one you didn't want me to see. Look at that brother over there on the right, bro. You see that little? Look, we in full roast mode here, nigga. Fuck that. That you see that gold thing he got tying on it, man? That shit look like it's getting ready to go, man. It's getting ready to pop. And that one dude right next to him, man, that shit gonna hit you right in the eye socket, motherfucker. Look at that dude, man. I got an idea for you, dumbass. You want to create a fucking new religion? I got a new religion for your stupid asses to create. We gonna call it the religion of the goddamn treadmill, motherfucker. We gonna call it the religion of crunches, motherfucker. We gonna call it the religion of doing 5 sit-ups in a row without fucking gassing yourself, nigga. How about that? Yeah, you know I had to go full core on this shit. See, Tom's gonna be nice about it. I'm not gonna be nice. But he's already roasting these motherfuckers. Like, you could just take any one of these motherfuckers. Take your pick. Take your motherfucking pick, dude. These are your winners, man. These are your fucking your shamans. I don't think so, buddy. I think if you cut all their heads off, and I'm not advocating for cutting anybody's head off, but if you were to cut all their heads off and put them in a pot and boil that shit down, guess how much knowledge you'd have? Well, you just lost it all in the process.
Of Western society and that which lies at its foundation, Christian morality, has infected the souls of those who, on that day, danced around and caressed the stones as though they were touching a lover's face.
Here's where I got to be a little bit critical of you, Tom, is that, like, you constantly go back to this, and I know you come a lot from, you know, the philosophy of Nietzsche and this whole idea of, like, Christian ethos and everything else. I just don't think it's pervasive as you think it is. Maybe I'm wrong, you know, maybe I'm understating it. I think I stated about right. I mean, Christianity is, especially in the West, the dominant mores, if you will. But that's been slowly declining over time to the point where now I'd put it at about 55-45. So, I mean, these people, they're just losers. You don't need to throw that at the feet of the Lord Jesus Christ, okay? You don't need to throw it there, man. It goes deeper than that. Like you said, these people are soft. Look at them, man. They butter, man. They made out of butter, man. You take a stick of butter and carve a motherfucker out of it. You make these motherfuckers all day. Pillsbury Doughboy looking ass motherfuckers, man. You know what I'm saying? We baking cookies in this bitch. Oh, yeah, I'm going ham, nigga. I'm going ham.
Asymptomatic, they are infected with a virus that can only be eliminated through extreme means. It's a chronic disease that has had a significant influence on modern Druidism and neo-paganism, even though they don't realize it. They are the vapid who have cocooned themselves.
Hold on, man. Are these real pictures, or you finding the weakest ass shit you can? Like Tom probably went to Google and he's like, show me a group of weird, weak neo-pagans worshiping trees. Boom, stock footage.
Safe
Stock
space
footage.
by
That don't
way
even
of
look like a
that
real
false
tree.
sense of security modernity has blessed them with. And I don't mean safe as in safe from that eternal threat of violence the ancients had to deal with. No, I mean they're safe from themselves and the darkness within.
You can't just drop a random nigger off in the hood and expect them to survive, dude.
Now, if they really want to
Takes a special
experience
set of
what
skills,
it
my
is
dude.
or was
You know
to be
this.
a, quote, pagan, they need to internalize the fear and dread that emerges from the dark absolute, the abyss. But as I stated in my last video, they project the face of Jesus on the ancient gods because that's what they're familiar with.
No, I disagree a little bit. You're saying, I think what you're saying is it's on a subconscious level. Because I think if you ask most of these people, they hate Christianity. I mean, at least they'll say they do. Like, oh, we reject the patriarchal blah, 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 of, the blah, 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 church, whatever. I think what you're talking about is an ethos, but at the same time, I mean, I think that whole goody two-shoes ethos, I think that goes beyond Christianity. I don't think it's limited to Christianity. I mean, shit, you could look at a religion like Jainism, for example, or even some would say Buddhism, although let me tell you, that's just the surface levels. That's just white, yellow, and green belts. But we all know this, right? You've seen my fucking Buddhism series. But yeah, I don't... I think vectoring this as, they're Christian, I think is missing a larger point.
It gives them comfort and they don't even realize they're doing it. Despite their efforts to revive pre-Christian traditions, they've incorporated Christian theological perspectives, and the most significant example is dualism.
Let's see where you go with this. I'm not sure I agree.
Most neo-pagan and druidic traditions reflect a Christian dichotomy of good and evil, even if they've reinterpreted these concepts in a non-Christian framework. These contemporary practices...
Dualism predates Christianity, though. You know that, right? Matter of fact, a lot of what turned the ancient... the whole religion of Israel was constantly in flux. But until the Babylonian exile, you didn't have the whole concept of dichotomy or dualism within Judaism. You just didn't. You can look at their texts and see that, God took credit for everything, good, bad, and indifferent. It's on God, man. And then the Babylonian exile, and we get Ahriman and fucking Ahura Mazda, and then we get the, cosmic light versus the cosmic darkness. But see, the thing is, and I push back against you, I think you buy into that shit too.
Often incorporate the Christian values of humility, forgiveness, and compassion,
think you buy into that
but
too.
A few. And that is the prime symptom of the disease that still festers in their souls. Because even though this ethical viewpoint seems indisputable and eternal, it isn't. Those values are not innate to the primate called human. They've only come about in the West through the Christian influence.
Again, I disagree. Oh, man. Because it predates Christianity. If we want to talk about the prime ethical concern, if we want to look at humanity, just anthropologically, what is the prime ethical concern? I'll let you think about it for a second. Because what I think it is I think it's an extreme form of tribalism, meaning in-group versus out-group. And yes, that does have a huge component of the family, specifically the nuclear family, specifically whether it be a patriarchal culture or matriarchal culture, the culture of the elders, of the wise, of the wisdom that has been given, of the strength that is, exists in the men of the tribe, of the fecundity that exists in the females of the tribe. See, I think that's the prime vector of all morality. I just think that some people have taken in different directions. I think to lay this at the feet of Christianity is a very myopic understanding. I think it's a lot deeper than that. And I think you'd do better if you could understand it on that more fundamental level and stop saying well, the things I don't like are Christian. It's like that. What's the one? All that glitters is not gold. But when you look at that as a logical statement, it makes a mistake, a big time mistake. But anywho, go ahead.
Okay, if I've upset you because of what I've been saying, not only in this video, but
you didn't upset me. I expect better. That's all. I mean, I understand where you're coming from with it. I just think if you thought about it a little bit deeper, you would realize that you're on the right track, but you're kind of like putting the cart before the horse when you want to blame something metaphysically or spiritually that went wrong with these people, because you can take one look at these people and just understand that they're, like you said, they're just failures. I mean, like they're doing that. Anybody that goes out there and does that, all those pictures that you showed, yeah, there's something wrong with them type motherfuckers, man. It's like they're at a Comic-Con, you know what I'm saying? They dressing up as fucking like Robin. and where's Batman at? You understand what I'm saying? Oh, Batman off killing motherfuckers, man. But I'm Robin. That's what I'm saying, man. I think that's kind of what you're saying, but get it right.
my last one as well, just hear me out.
I'm hearing.
If you really want to connect with the ancients and the gods you claim to revere, you need to scrub yourself clean of the Christian taint. And the absolute best way of doing this is by taking the left-hand path. Left-hand path paganism emphasizes individuality, personal empowerment, and self-deification by...
But join my group. You see, and this has been my critique from day one, and I will always promote your group. I really will. But you say that out of one side of your mouth, and then you're like, well, join my group, and we'll help you. We'll help you walk the solitary path. Like I said, I believe there are magical avenues to recovering these ancient traditions. And they are much more personal and less, how should we put this? Communal. The community comes next. You have to build the individual first. But you know this, Tom.
Blending what can be called satanic principles with what we know of ancient beliefs. This is done by incorporating elements from various traditions, blending archaic practices with dark paganism, chaos magic, or other esoteric systems. Now
see, that was a goddamn potpourri right there. Because chaos magic is novel and it's silly. You know what I'm saying? So for you to throw that one in there, it's like, wait a minute, one of these is not like the others.
The left-hand path usually pertains to the occult.
Yeah, I'm no fan of chaos magic. Just had to put that out there.
And the difference between occultic practices and pagan...
It reminds me of my critique of string theory within modern physics. It's an attempt to say something really big, and it ends up saying nothing at all. It's almost like a perfect parallel.
Is one tends to be performed indoors and the other outdoors.
You have to do it
This
outdoors.
is because the occult is an inner...
No. He's right if he's saying what I think he's saying. These rituals have to be done outdoors. There's just no, that's not even a question. If you're doing your shit inside, well, you know what? Okay, buddy.
Search for esoteric
You just done
truth,
told on
while
yourself.
Paganism is an attempt to align oneself with the natural world and the gods and spirits that dwell just beyond its surface. This doesn't mean, though, that the pagan can't also focus on the esoteric. In some ways, paganism can give one an even wider parameter to work with while searching for that inner primordial truth. As I like to say, the truth is in the primal, and the natural world epitomizes the primal. A word of advice, though. As one performs their outdoor ritual or ceremony, avoid picturing Disney-like creatures just beyond the tree line, but instead imagine demonic apparitions that will, if you make a single mistake.
As a matter of fact, I would say do neither. I think those are both pitfalls.
Devour you. These are the dark aspects of existence one must engage with, which leads to recognizing the value of exploring and integrating suppressed or negative aspects of the self. Now, some of you neo-pagans are probably thinking, why is he using words like satanic and demonic concerning left-hand path pagan practices? Those terms are Abrahamic. If you're thinking this, then you fell into my trap, because this verifies that you haven't let go of the Judeo-Christian influence. That's
This nigga a dog. Tom, nigga, you a dog with a bone, bro. You ain't letting that shit go, are you? Christianity is, like at the root of... You might be right. I don't think you are, but you might be right. Maybe these people are all just disaffected. Christianity didn't work for me, bro. So, but I still have all the... We washing people's feet in the motherfucker? What are we doing?
right, because if you had truly let it
Speaking
all
in tongues,
go,
motherfucker, what are
you
we
can
doing?
then acknowledge that those traditions are also mythological. But that's not myth, that's religion, you might shout. But a worthy definition of religion, my tree-hugging friends, is mythology taken literally. Think about it.
Whoa. Actually, I am gonna think about that. That sounds pretty cool. Religion is mythology taken literally. I like that. That's a good one. If I steal it, I'm gonna have to give you credit. I ain't stealing it. But if I use it, I'm gonna say, and that's a quote from Thomas Leroy. That's a good one. I like that. Hold on, wait a minute, hold on. Let's give this a thumbs up just for that, bro. We thumbsing up.
But I digress.
We all digress. It's part of our nature.
Now, for left-hand path paganism to work, one's focus must be on self-determination and the shadow aspects of existence, while utilizing esoteric or taboo practices to exalt the individual as the central figure of their unholy journey. Sinister illumination is the goal. This is where the practitioner strives to realize and actualize their inner divinity, becoming the ultimate authority over their existence.
Okay, this is again where I have to kind of disagree with Tom a little bit here. Is because if I understand paganism, at least most traditions that I do understand, and granted, I'm not an expert on any of them, but I do see commonalities. And I think this hyper focus on individuation is somewhat misguided. And the reason I say that is because if you look at all of these cultures, they are very centered on what might be called a tribe or a group, an ability to converse with ancestors and with those that have walked the path before. Those are your teachers, but they're your blood at the same time. You have to be able to reach them. You have to be able to magically connect with them. And I don't think the way to do that necessarily, I mean, of course, in the beginning, it's going to be a solitary path. But the goal is to resurrect the tribe, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. You're touching on a lot of really interesting shit. I just think you need to get off that Christianity train. It's not as powerful as you think it is, especially nowadays it isn't.
This method should challenge societal norms, traditional morality.
That's one that me and Diane Vera disagree about all the time. Anytime I talk to her, we always get into a real huge argument about this. Because she's like you. She thinks Christianity has too much reach. I think it did. If you lived in the 1300s, yeah, 100% it did. Now we in 2025, motherfuckers. It ain't like that no more.
in hierarchical religious systems. This is antithetical to the right-hand path traditions, which emphasizes communal worship, submission to divine will, and adherence to...
I know it's impossible for me to stop talking over Tom, so I'm just going to keep pausing. I think that this whole dichotomy between individual and group is somewhat of a misnomer. I just really think it is.
Establish moral codes. The aim of rituals, spells, and spiritual practices in left-hand path...
Let me ask you this, all right? I know it's going to be a super long video, but because it's just me commenting on your video. So, yeah, it's going to be twice as long as your video. That's just some adding to it, man. So let me ask you this. What would it take? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you have any children. I don't know why that is. Probably it's a conscious decision. But what I want you to do is I want you to think that perhaps if there was a world in which you did have at least one child, you and Lisa had a child. Boy child, girl child, take your pick. This is a mind space I'm trying to put you in. Because I'm going to ask you one simple question. What would it take for you to kill that child? Outright. Because I know, and I am a father, I have 2 children, and I know that there is a line, and I would kill them. It's different in either case. It's much harder with Nicole, because she's a girl. But with Michael, Lord Jesus Christ, you have no idea. There's a couple things that motherfucker could do where the next thing you hear about me is I'm in prison because I just killed him. Just saying, there is. Think about that. There's your ethos, your bottom line ethos. What would it take for you to kill your own child?
Paganism should be to enhance personal power and mastery over one's destiny. This can be done by interpreting these deities that have...
Now you see, one of the biggest critiques that I get about Satanism is that it looks like... It looks like a Halloween shit show, dude. It really does. It's like, oh, we're going to do flashing skulls. Give me 8 flashing skulls, and give me a flashing flame. Then give me a worm-eating skull. Then give me a severed arm. Then give me... It's just like, come on, what are we doing here? Where are the pumpkins and the jack-o'-lanterns at, dude? Because, see, I think you're minimizing. I think you're minimizing the left-hand path. I think it's like, oh, it's all darkness and shadows and fucking scary things and shit that goes bump in the night. It's like, really? Who's infected with Christianity at that point? Who's infected with dualism at that point? I'm just asking, bro. That's all I'm doing. I'm just curious minds want to know.
Been literally demonized by the church as symbols of personal growth and rebellion. These are the gods that embody transformation, rebellion, primal energy, chaos, and the underworld. Examples would be in the Norse traditions, Odin, Hel, and Loki, in the Greek, Hecate, Hades, and Dionysus, and in Egyptian mythology, Anubis, Apep, and Set. Set representing the principle of isolated consciousness.
According to Aquino. But, okay. Temple of Set, folks. Throw them hands up. Let me see your signals. Let me see your set. All right. Anywho, let me see your set. You see what I did there? That was a double entendre. You probably wouldn't have gotten it if I didn't bring a point to it. I think that's a very interesting slew of, individuals. Yeah.
In the pursuit of personal godhood. The left-hand path-inspired approach embraces shadow work, chaos, and the darker aspects of the different pantheons, interpreting these deities as forces of transformation, rebellion.
I have a better way of putting it to you. How about this? I want you to think about this. let's say that you have a glass and it's empty. And your teacher comes up to you and he starts filling the glass. And he fills it to about, I would say, 66%, 2/3 full. And then he pushes the glass to you and he pushes the pitcher to you. And he says, show me what you've learned.
And liberation.
Right?
This aligns with the left-hand path's practitioner's aim of transcending conventional boundaries and understanding deeper truths about existence, for none of these pagan gods or deities to be worshipped, but instead...
Do you know what 2/3 equates to? Let's round it to the 1,000th place. Or no, wait, we should do the 10,000th place, right? What do we get? 0.666. Oh, I had to throw that out there. 2/3 full, right?
Understood as examples of transformation, self-discovery, and the breaking free from societal constraints. Now, not all of you pagans of the modern world are LARPers. There are those who practice...
He said not all. You're right, not all. 95%. There's a 5%er out there. I don't know if you know this or not, but within what's called the Nation of Islam or Black Muslims, they got the 5%ers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we all know what's up. It all comes from the same place, Tom. Come on now.
Paganism with degrees in archaeology who know much more than the average person on the topic. These people know their shit, and I would have no argument with them. And I know a handful of individuals who could be called practitioners of traditional witchcraft that incorporate elements of the left-hand path, such as individualism and personal empowerment, while invoking the darker deities. Their practice doesn't always adhere to a harm none ethic, such as the Wiccan Rede. Magic for them can be selfish, defensive, or even aggressive, depending on the circumstances. So yes, there are some, the learned few, who may not be on the left-hand path, but are able to tap into the primordial essence of their ancestors. But most of you so-called druids or neo-pagans can't, and never will. In conclusion, my neo